Smart Investor, where we discuss everything related to your investments and more. In today's episode, we will talk about the luxury sector in India and how it has been growing lately. And to do that, we have Dr. Mukesh Jindal, co founder of Alpha Capital, with us. Welcome to ET Markets, Dr. Jindal.
Thank you, Neha. Thanks a lot for inviting me to this show. I am super excited to be here and especially excited to talk about the luxury segment.
Well, to start the conversation quickly, then, the first thing I want to talk about is a very simple thing that I've heard a lot of in a lot of places, that India is often called price sensitive market. Do you agree with this?
Absolutely, Neha. There is no denying the fact that we are a price sensitive country. And, we love to bargain, we love to negotiate, even if the price is okay, till the time we don't get some discount, the happiness
Yeah.
doesn't come. So 100% I feel that we are price sensitive about it. And I think there are some characteristics about it. One, we want value for money. Any money
Yeah.
which we spend, we want that we get good value. We don't want to waste our money. Second, we want stuffs which are durable. Like we
Hmm.
prefer Japanese or US product over a Chinese product. It has to be cost
Yeah.
efficient and durable. And last, what I also feel that the Indian market is sensitive towards any price change. Even if there is a
Hmm.
5% price increase or 10% price increase, suddenly the demand falls, what we see in FMCG
Yeah.
goods and many other goods. So, to answer your question, yes, we are a price sensitive market. Now, if
Hmm.
you ask me, India is changing. We know that there's so much of growth happening. We are getting digitalized, so much of infrastructure is getting built up. And as India is changing, I think this behavior will also change. Now, how will
Right.
this behavior change? Before that, it's important to understand why are we like this? Why are we price sensitive? So, one,
Hmm.
what I feel, Neha, is that India is largely a poor and a middle class country, and for
Hmm.
this we have to understand the market composition or the market segment of the India. Like India is one, right? But we
Hmm.
can segment India based on different states. It can be segmented on on the basis of religion, language. Similarly, India can be segmented on the basis of how much is the net worth of people. And if you ask me, there are five segments to it. So the
Okay.
base of the whole pyramid of the India can be something as classified as people who earn below 2 lakhs, and this
Hmm.
segment is also known as poor, and this is almost 48%. So technically, out of 140 crore of population, 50%
Hmm.
of the country is largely poor. Okay, the
Yeah.
second level is the middle class, where the net worth is 2 lakhs to 8 lakhs. Now, this constitutes almost 37%. So, we are talking about
Hmm.
85%, the poor and the middle class constituting 85% of the whole of India. And that's the reason why we are so price sensitive. And the third layer, which is the upper middle class, has a net worth of 8 lakhs to 80 lakhs. This is almost 14%. And then you
Hmm.
have the HNI, where the net worth is 80 lakhs to 8.5 crores. And, this is almost 0.86%. And now you also have a ultra HNI, where, the net worth is more than 8.5 crore, which typically is only 8 lakh of population. So
Hmm.
0.06 constitutes ultra HNI. So clearly there are five segments to it. And majorly, as we see that 85% of the population is poor and middle class. So when you
Yeah.
have such a large population base where people don't earn so much of money, it is but natural that people will carefully spend the money. But I
Hmm.
think as India grows, as this segmentation change, the spending pattern will also change. So yes, this is what I
Right.
feel.
Okay. So talking a little bit more about luxury brands now. So luxury brands and companies are now shifting their focus to the Indian market. So I want to understand how big is the market right now?
So, Neha, you're absolutely correct. Luxury brands and companies, they are focusing so much of India. And I think the
Hmm.
trends are very much visible in the sense,
Yeah.
you go for a holiday anywhere, all the five-star hotels and resorts are all sold out. You will
Hmm.
still get two-star, one-star, three-star hotels which are available, but the five-star hotels, they're, sold out, whatever is the price. You look at the
Yeah.
luxury cars, like BMW, Mercedes, the prices have just gone through the roof. Recently, Apple,
Hmm.
iPhone 15 Pro Max came. There was so much of demand for the phone. People wanted to replace that. You look at the
Yeah.
real estate. In fact, if you look at the luxury real estate, if you talk about the Gurgaon market, there's a golf
Hmm.
course road. You have apartments like Aralias, Magnolias, Camellias. They're more than
Hmm.
doubled in the last 2 years. But if you go to the Sona Road or other
Yeah.
places, the prices have not gone so much. The affordable housing prices have not gone so much. If you look at
Hmm.
Mumbai, you had a Geo World Drive Mall, which is a luxury mall, and now you have Geo World Plaza, which is launched a new mall by Reliance because there's so
Yeah.
much of demand. So the
Hmm.
trends are clearly visible, and luxury as a segment is becoming larger. So, if you remember that pyramid which I spoke about, the
Yeah.
ultra HNI and HNI, which constitutes 1% of Indian population, which is almost 1.3 crores. This
Hmm.
segment, Neha, is becoming bigger and bigger. And this is one reason why the demand for luxury is going up. In fact,
Yeah.
there's a research from a Bain company which feels that if we talk about the current market size of the luxury products in India, that is $60 billion. And
Hmm.
this is going to hit $200 billion by the end of 2030. Now, this means that the luxury segment is going to grow at 20%, which is a
Hmm.
big number, Neha. Typically see India is expected to grow this decade as the fastest at the fastest rate and is going to be the fastest economy. As per
Yeah.
IMF, the
Hmm.
growth rate of India will be around 6.5, 7%, which is real GDP growth. And if we assume an inflation of 6%, we are talking about a growth rate of around 13%. So India broadly, majority of the sectors are going to grow at 13%, but luxury as a category is going to grow at 20%, and which I think is a phenomenal change. And anything related to luxury is going to see huge demand. It means big impact on the businesses. It means big opportunity for investors. So this is a
Right.
trend we are definitely seeing. Now the reason is, why is this playing out? It's visible to us. Why suddenly?
Hmm.
Why has it not happened before? Has this population of 1% of super HNI suddenly gone up? So
Hmm.
there's a reason for that, and I want to tell you the reason. So the
Sure.
reasons is, it really played out after the COVID pandemic. And what has happened
Hmm.
Neha, after the COVID pandemic, there has been a K shaped recovery. When I say K shaped recovery, some percentage of the population, they are doing phenomenally well, and some
Yeah.
percentage of the population, they're struggling. And though we don't have the exact numbers, but when we look at the data, the trend, clearly the poor, middle class, the rural, that segment is struggling. And the rich, the ultra rich, they are doing very well. And that's the reason
Hmm.
they want to, spend money. They want to elevate their social status. Let's say, especially the, upper middle class, HNIs, who have earned a lot of money. See, after COVID, what has also happened, especially the service industry, the financial services, the IT, they have seen their incomes go like very high. So there has been a lot of disposable income in their hands, and
Hmm.
this category want to show the status, they want to change the status, so clearly they
Yeah.
are spending more. And also see, if you look at after COVID, the increase in social media, the download of apps which happened, in terms of Instagram, YouTube, that has gone up significantly high.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
Instagram and these social media apps are places where people flaunt their status. And as people
Yeah.
watch more of it, people want to also buy stuff and show that we have arrived. So this is a trend we are playing out. And recently, you read what RBI did to the fintech. The fintechs have
Hmm.
been lending money left and right, without any security to people to borrow and buy stuff. So
Yeah.
all these things coupled together is really pushing the luxury segment pretty hard, and I think this is the trend is going to continue for next 10 20 years.
All right. You mentioned about status, so I want to talk about real estate now. Many Indian companies are coming up with big luxurious projects, as you mentioned that there are big projects going on in Gurgaon, in Mumbai, and even in Noida, we see such big projects. And these are not just normal residential projects. These are actual luxurious luxury projects where people have the whole entire floor to themselves, and the demand of that is increasing. Hence we have not just one or two but multiple projects of such kind going on. So what is the demand in the real estate when it comes to the luxury sector?
So Neha, I think you're absolutely right. The trend which we are seeing, in large cities for bigger flats is definitely very much visible. In fact, there was a news heading a month back whereby we learned that the DLF Camellia Apartments, which is on the golf course road of the
Hmm.
Gurgaon, a flat was sold for 113 crores, and it was
Yeah.
of course a larger size flat. It was 11,000 square feet. And few years
Hmm.
back, this flat was at 45 crores. Normally, we would, hear this kind of deal in, Delhi side, in the New Delhi area, but Gurgaon
Hmm.
kind of place having this kind of transaction size is phenomenal. So yes, clearly there are some trends which are visible, which we
Hmm.
see is that there has been an increased demand for ultra luxury homes, especially which are
Yeah.
priced above 5 crores or 10 crores. We are not seeing so much of demand, let's say in the flat size of affordable housing, 1 crore 2 crore. The price appreciation has not happened so much, especially it has happened
Hmm.
in the ultra luxury homes. And it's not just the high rise apartments. We are seeing a huge demand in farmhouses, holiday homes, especially after COVID. If you go to Goa, in fact recently I'd gone to Goa after Diwali. Goa has become more like Delhi and Mumbai. It's more cosmopolitan. In fact, we
Yeah.
have a lot of our clients who are going to Goa, preferring to buy a luxury house, stay over there, have a better lifestyle. So that's a trend which is playing out. And also, majorly, we are seeing this happening in Mumbai, Gurgaon, Bangalore, Goa. And these are the places also where a lot of wealth creation has happened. So the trends are clearly visible. Now,
Hmm.
before we get into the trends, and it's important to understand why is it really happening. So
Yeah.
I think one clear reason is the COVID. COVID has really changed, and people have more disposable income, especially the service industry, which explained that this category has made a lot of wealth, and people now
Hmm.
want to really show their status. If they have the wealth, they really want to upgrade their lifestyle. And then what has also happened is that after COVID, the work from home culture has also become bigger.
Yeah.
People need bigger homes, they need one extra room for themselves to work, so the demand for bigger houses have definitely gone up. And
Hmm.
also the trend what we are seeing is that people just don't want a house, they want a resort like experience with amenities. And I think that trend is definitely visible. Like if you talk about Mumbai, there are areas like
Hmm.
Lower Parel or BKC, Bandra, where the high rises, new high rises complexes are coming up. People are clearly
Yeah.
wanting to move over there because they're better facilities, and the old areas where the facilities are not there are really not going up so much. So I think this real estate as a sector, as a segment, luxury will go. Personally, I don't
Hmm.
think that real estate prices may go up very high, because the demand creates supply requirement, and we are seeing a lot of projects getting launched, the supply of which is expected to come up in next 1 or 2 years. So I feel the trend of transactions will happen. You will see more and more people buying houses in next 1 year, 2 years. But
Hmm.
prices, I feel, may have already peaked out because there are a lot of supply coming. In fact, just to give you a number, in Mumbai alone, there are 6,000 projects running right now. Mumbai has never seen this kind of construction activity. That's the reason you have so much of pollution. And
Hmm.
because of so much of construction, the supply which is expected to come is going to be phenomenal. So yes, the trend is going to continue, but I think prices may have already peaked out.
All right. Talking a little bit more about electronics and manufacturing, the sales in terms of tech and electronics has also increased in India. In fact, even iPhone manufacturing is going to has started in India already, and it's going to happen in the coming future also. So, do you think that India can beat other emerging markets as well when it comes to manufacturing, getting other companies on board?
No, absolutely, Neha. I think there's no reason why India cannot beat any other emerging market. India has a very good, ground for phenomenal demand for electronics products and also manufacturing. See, we also need
Hmm.
to understand, Neha, any manufacturing plant which comes in any country, it comes when the demand is there.
Hmm.
So, when the country already has an in-house demand, so that the plant can support the requirement of that country, and then the surpluses can be exported. Now there are
Yeah.
all the things which are favorable for India, and I'm sure everyone knows about it, but if I have to put it together, see, recently India has become the most populated country in the world with 140 crore of population. We have surpassed the China. Now,
Hmm.
if we look at, out of 140 crore, almost one fourth of this, which is, 35 crores, is something in the age group of 15 to 29. It's a very young
Hmm.
population. In fact, India has the highest population of young people. So the
Hmm.
demographic advantage is there. Third, due to the efforts of government, the internet subscription or the subscribers or the use of internet has gone up to 85 crores. Sort of 140 crores, you have people 85 crores using internet.
Hmm.
And as India is growing, the per capita is also going up. Per capita is going very high. In fact, it's going to touch $3,000 by 2025. And when this young population, Neha, who have subscription, a subscription to internet and who have surplus money, they are going to spend money on electronics. Electronics is something which people really enjoy because internet cost
Yeah.
in India is less. The people are not going to movie theaters, they're watching everything on the mobile. So electronic spending, the mobile phone, the TV is going to see phenomenal upgrade, and I think that will also lead to more manufacturing companies coming to India. We've seen Tesla, wanting to come to India. In fact, all of
Yeah.
these electronics companies they want to India, especially also China is also helping us. You
Hmm.
know
And Tesla
because
is
of all
not
the
a brand for the poor, by the way. Tesla is just not for the poor. Even the people in the US, they are not. If we compare it to the Indian population or Indian strata, even people in the US can't afford Tesla. Most people.
Neha, I can tell you one day, very soon, in next 5 to 10 years, the number of Teslas which India will have will be far higher than US or any other country in the world. India
Hmm.
is a rich economy. When I say rich economy, it's a high growth economy. And
Yeah.
we are going through a high growth phase, which maybe Europe had experienced in the time of industrial revolution. When the industrial
Hmm.
revolution happened in Europe, the per capita of income of Europe went up exponentially high. So
Yeah.
next 10 years, 20 years, we are going to see phenomenal growth. And the 1% segment which I talked about of HNI,
Hmm.
ultra HNI, this is going to go up phenomenally high. So Tesla and everyone have to be in India by default. They
Yeah.
don't have a choice. It's a matter of time when they will start coming to India on India's terms. And thankfully, China is also messing up their economy, and all the companies now are playing out China plus one strategy. They
Yeah.
don't want to be dependent on China. They want to have a base outside India, and this government is clearly trying to use all the things possible to bring those companies to India. So I think phenomenal opportunity. It's a matter of time where India will be the number one manufacturer and consumer of all the electronics.
Definitely. And in fact, India's luxury market, as you mentioned earlier, is all set to grow around 3.5 times by 2030. And it will be around $200 billion. So I want to understand, what does it show about the Indian consumer in general? Like, how fast is the Indian consumer going towards the luxury sector?
Yeah, we are going very fast. And, India is seeing a new money, which we have not seen before. For
Hmm.
example, 20 years back, I used to travel in DTC bus. A student in Delhi University. In fact, most of the people you meet today, people who have the wealth, people did not have wealth 20 years back.
Hmm.
And this generation, they are earning so much, they don't know what to do with this money. In fact, when I'm talking to my clients these days, the story is not about returns. These days, the story is not about how to grow wealth. That is by default going to happen. See, any investor today doesn't have to think much. Just if you're invested in equity, by default, you're going to participate. The
Hmm.
challenge today is how are you going to spend the money?
Right.
So I think in coming years, the debate will move towards how to spend, where to spend, because we have not seen this kind of wealth creation earlier. So that's why this young India, which is getting richer, they're spending money left and right. They want to buy whatever is possible. They want to buy, luxury cars. They want to buy
Hmm.
electronics, mobiles. They want to go on holidays. They want to splurge. And I think it's a fantastic opportunity for a lot of people. If you look at the luxury segment as a brand, as a segment, there are very few Indian brands over here. Most of the
Yeah.
luxury brands are outside India. And this luxury category, it's not just a story in India. After COVID,
Hmm.
most of the countries are seeing this. In fact, if you look at you want to make a guess who is the second richest person in the world right now?
You tell me.
Bernard Arnault of LVMH, which is a luxury
Yeah.
brand, he has become the second richest man by just focusing on luxury goods. And most of the luxury brands, are outside in India. If you look at the Apple of the world, if you look at the Hermes, L'Oreal, Ferrari, most of the brands are international brands. So I think for Indian businesses, it's a fantastic opportunity. If they can create a luxury brand, the margins are going to be phenomenal, the growth is going to be phenomenal, and even for investors, they should consider
Hmm.
putting money in luxury. In fact, if you ask me, Neha, which is one theme, not one, in fact, there are two themes which I love for investments, which I think are going to give phenomenal returns. One is, of course, the US tech and the innovation, because technology is here to stay. Second is the luxury.
Right.
Luxury as a theme, as a category, is going to see phenomenal return. If you're able to invest in luxury companies at a good valuation, see, this luxury companies, they are few, they trade at a very high valuation. If you're able to catch them at a good valuation, then I think there's
Hmm.
phenomenal wealth to be made.
Definitely. And I think Bernard Arnault also became the richest person in the world back in May 2023. I think he I think after Elon Musk became again, I think Bernard was one of those people who started LVMH, but a lot of people don't know that under the umbrella of LVMH, a lot of brands he acquired over the period of his entire career, actually. And those brands were, most of the brands were not working well at that time when he acquired the brands. So he started, acquiring brands under his umbrella, and then all the brands came under LVMH. But a lot of people were not aware how he actually created that legacy. So
Yeah, no,
I
I
think
think
that
that's a
is,
fantastic
yeah.
story. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that these fights between billionaires keep on happening, but we understand that what they are after, that gives you an idea of what is happening in the world, because we most of the people who are world's richest are either in tech or in luxury. So we are getting a hint that where the world is going.
Absolutely, absolutely, Neha. I think you're bang on. If you have to make money, you have to learn what the most successful and richest people are doing. You take out the list of the top 10 richest men in the world, and you can see you're right, 100% they are from tech or luxury. In fact, Apple is a fantastic
Hmm.
example of that. It's a combination of tech and luxury.
Yeah,
And that's
and I
why
think a lot
this,
of
yeah,
people after tech, a lot of people are into people are very ready to spend lakhs on a handbag also. So I have seen it like upfront. So I know that people have changed their thinking towards owning these goods also, not just as a waste of money. And people are not. I think a lot of people in India had that. Price sensitive mentality, but nowadays I feel that a lot of people are not they don't shy away from spending a little extra if they're getting more.
100%. So, that's what you're absolutely right. People want to spend, and see, the generation shift has also happened. Earlier,
Hmm.
people, the mentality used to be a Gujarati, Marwadi. Sorry, I'm using this. I'm a Marwadi myself, and I've seen my parents that ways and all. We used to be very careful in spending. But today, you meet
Hmm.
any Marwadi businessman or anyone, they are no more a Marwadi. They have a lifestyle. They want to work hard. They want to earn more, and they also want to spend a lot to ensure
Yeah.
they're having a good experience, because the wealth creation has happened phenomenally high. There's a lot of disposable income in the hand of people, and people
Hmm.
really don't know what to do this with this money. So luxury brands are here to do well, and investors need to watch out for this segment. And I think it's a fantastic opportunity.
Definitely. So before we conclude our session for today, just wanted to know, can you name a few luxury stocks or companies that investors can look at if they want to invest in the luxury sector?
So, one, Neha, there are very few companies which are in the luxury segments, but whichever are there are definitely very interesting. And I've been personally also tracking them. So, some companies are outside India. Okay.
Hmm.
And see, one is we love the business. Second is the company stock. You may be loving the
Hmm.
business, but it's also important to look at the valuation and the growth potential. So any stock which I'm, naming right now, these are the stocks which are not the stocks, the companies are expected to do well. Investors are
Hmm.
requested to do their own due diligence before picking on them. So there are two segments in the luxury. One is a segment which is outside India. Okay. If we talk about companies which are listed and available for investment and which are expected to do well, like Apple is one brand, second is
Hmm.
LVMH, third is
Hmm.
Hermes, fourth is L'Oreal, and fifth is Ferrari. Now these are five stocks which have done well, which are expected to have good demand, and but
Hmm.
they already traded at a very high price, so one needs to be watchful. So the one is a global segment. Now, if we talk about the listed companies in India, you have companies like Titan, you have companies
Hmm.
like Indian Hotels, Ethos, Klein Jewelers, Kalyan Jewelers, Manyavar,
Hmm.
and there are not many listed companies in the luxury segment. Now, the challenge is that all these companies, they already trade at a very high multiple. So, there is an index, luxury index. The P of that
Hmm.
index is trading currently at 61. So, if Nifty is trading at 21, the P of
Yeah.
luxury index is trading at 61. It's already three times. So, market has already discounted the fact that these companies are going to grow at very fast pace.
Hmm.
And so, yes, what I'll suggest to investors is keep a watch on these stocks. And whenever there is a correction, whenever you get an opportunity, they may be a good position to build.
All right. So I think we are done with the session for today. Thank you so much, Dr. Jindal, for joining us on ET Markets live stream and talking about luxury sector in India.
Thank you, Neha. Thanks a lot for inviting me to the show. It's always pleasure to be here and share insights. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.